Today we're going to learn how to do a fairy garden using a wine bottle. Isn't that the cutest thing? You can personalize it, do all kinds of other things you want. I happen to like the patriotic theme, so that's what I've done with mine. Of course, your first step is to cut your bottle in two, and that's a whole nother video on our website, so check that out first. But after you get your bottle cut and you get your edges all finished so that it's not sharp, and I use the sanding pad, diamond sanding pad, and then I use the half round file to do my inside. I can comfortably handle this without worrying about getting it cut, my hands cut, because your mother always said never play with sharp broken glass, and that's what bottles are. They can be very sharp after they've been cut, so you want to make sure to finish your edge so that everybody can enjoy your work of art. Now that we have our bottle cut, it's time to drill a hole. I use a 1.6 diamond drill bit, a Dremel, works really well for this, and we're going to drill small little holes so that we can string our beading wire and make our fairy garden. Now we need to have a little template here so that we can make our holes line up from the top and the bottom. So we put our bottle, line it up, mark it on four sides. We do the same thing to the top. Put our little four marks, and now we're ready to drill. You always want to drill underwater so that you can keep your drill bit wet. If your drill bit gets dry, it could ruin the diamonds on the Dremel drill bit. So we'll go ahead and do one really quick here. Turn on full speed. And in no time at all, you have a hole in your bottle. Perfect little hole. Now what you have to be careful when you're drilling a hole is that you don't let the drill or the Dremel hit the bottle. It could break your bottle. So I have this little platform so that I have something to lean my hand on when I'm drilling. And that makes a really nice little hand rest. That way you can go into your bottle. As soon as it goes through the bottle, you stop and you don't break your glass. For this next step, we're actually going to run our beading wire, and I like to use a 7-strand beading wire. It's pretty durable. We're going to run our beading wire through the hole, and we're going to hold it together with these little crimp beads, which are about 2 mil. And then you'll also need a pair of crimping pliers. That will smash your beads really nicely. Alright, so we're going to put one together here. Take our little crimp bead, feed it through to our wire, go through the hole, bring it back around, and pull our wire through. We take our crimp pliers and crimp the bead. Now we'll do this all 4 sides, but I'm just going to do one to kind of show you, and then we can decorate. Take our little bead, slide it wherever you want it to go. I'm going to put another smaller bead on the bottom. And then we're going to do another crimp bead to hold those beads in place. Those little crimp beads are hard to hold on to. They're pretty tiny. Alright. Just crimp it really nicely there. And we have our start of our white bottle fairy garden. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and do some other decorative beads. And we'll do our different patterns. And then when we get all 4 sides done, we'll be ready to attach the bottom. Now that we've got all of our strings strung, it's time to put the bottom on. The hardest part of doing a fairy garden with wine bottles is getting your strings all the same tightness. And we've devised a jig, it's called a spacer jig, that's going to help us do that. So we're going to take our spacer jig, we're going to need that, we're going to need 2 bottle rings, we're going to need 4 tension cords, and of course our bottles. So let's get to work. First thing we want to do is we want to put the bottle ring on the bottom of the bottle, and it fits pretty tight, but it's adjustable to any size bottles for the most part. Then we take our spacers, tension cords, clip it in there, kind of in between our holes. It all seems so simple, but it took a while to figure out the exact combination. It's going to make it easier for you because they're so fun to make. Alright, so we put that there. We put our spacer jig kind of in between the holes so we can get to our holes that we drilled for the bottom. We stick our top of our bottle on the top of the spacer. We put our ring on that one, and we kind of eyeball our holes so that we can, when we go to string our beads, everything will line up perfectly. Then we take our tension wires and we clip it in just like that. And I usually do opposite sides so that I can keep the exact tension. It doesn't get too hard to pull it up there. Alright, now that we got that straight, if we need to adjust our tension, we can roll down the bottle ring. We're going to slide these over so that they're kind of in between where we need them. This is all going to help us when we get to the next step. Alright, that looks pretty good. Check our holes again, make sure our top is lined up with the bottom. That looks pretty good. Alright, so now we can go ahead and put some beads on the bottom. We'll start with our crimp bead. And then we'll take our bead that we want to use. I'm going to use a little red one here. Oh, let's put a little blue one on top, just for fun. I'll put a red one. I kind of like the patriotic theme today, so that's what I'm doing. Let's put another blue one. Alright, where's the hole? Okay, then we're going to feed that in through our hole at the bottom. We could take a little pair of pliers if we need to bring the whole wire up. And we're going to feed that wire back through our beads. All the way up through there. Get all of them. Kind of push them down a little bit. Make sure you get your tail through the crimp beads because that's important. That we catch all the beads and the wire. There we go. Alright. Now the hard part of this is it's hard to hang on to this wire and get it tight. So I like to use the hemostat. Sometimes you can find those at the hardware store. And just kind of, that will help you pull it and get it nice and tight. Just kind of push it down like that. Kind of curl it around there so I can get some tension on it and push down with my finger. There we go. Look how tight that is. And then crimp our bead. All right. Nice. Now we can go ahead and cut off our excess. We've got a good start. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and make all the others and then go from there. Now that we have all of our wires strung and our beads in place, it's time to take the jig off and to unleash it. So we take our tension cords off first. And we gently flex our jig and slide it around our wires, not to stress our wires at all. There we go. We take our bottom bottle ring off, and here we have it. We have our very own fairy garden almost. Let's go ahead and finish the job. Alright, so first of all we want to put something in the bottom so that we can put our foam and everything and kind of space it up a little bit so we don't have too much room in there. I use some little plastic beads. That works really well. We take a little piece of styrofoam. I like to use styrofoam because I can stick things in it for my fairy garden. You can put moss on this, or you can fill it with little plastic beads. It's up to you. However you want to decorate. These little beads work really well. Alright. There we go. Then we take our decorations. I have a little star. It kind of goes with the patriotic theme. I have a little friends gather here. That's kind of fun. Stick that in your styrofoam. There you go. What else can we put in there? Oh, I have a little fireworks thing. That might be neat. Let's stick that in there. And there you have it. Your very own fairy garden. Isn't that the cutest?